What's going on? My name is Scott Manningham. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Unconventional Conversations. This episode takes more of an informational approach. I want to help you better understand what EAP is and how it relates to HR. In this video, I'm going to give you some helpful tools and tips on how to utilize your EAP services at your job to get you several free sessions per year with your therapist. If you have any more questions, if you want me to go into more detail, please make sure you leave a comment below. If you are a therapist or a provider and looking to utilize EAP services, just leave a comment below and I'll make a video about that too. If I could help in any way, please leave a comment below and I will try to. If I can't help, then I'll point you in the right direction. All right, talk to me.
Hello, everybody. My name is Makita DuBose, and I am the owner of Higher Purpose Solutions, and I am a leadership training and development coach. I ultimately help you find your higher purpose. I offer 3 levels of services. I am a career coach. I help your corporations. I help organizations from a managerial perspective. Also, within it, I work on organizational culture. So the toxicity and things like that happen in corporate, listen, all of that ties in together. And so ultimately, I am that coach to help you in those specific areas. You can reach me at hello@makitadubose.com. I am also found on LinkedIn at Makita DuBose, and also my company, Higher Purpose Solutions, is also found on LinkedIn. I can also be reached at 813-922-5054. Other than that, I am Makita DuBose. Thank you.
Hey, so I'm going to go ahead and step on here now since she did all of that work. My name is Scott Manningham. Welcome to Unconventional Conversations. And I'm here today with Makita DuBose to openly discuss and talk about EAP services and how they relate to HR, human resources. EAP stands for Employee Assistance Program. Most big companies have a EAP services, and they help with several things. But one of the primary things that I'm here to talk about is a part of the Employee Assistance Program, which provides several mental health services per year. Sometimes mental health service can get pricey based on where you're at or who you're going to. The company wants you to use your EAP, but the only problem is there's a disconnect between understanding HR and understanding what EAP actually provides. What do you know about mental health services provided by EAP?
So I know that mental health services are provided, but they are not advertised like they should be, right? So until a person in corporate is dealing with a true situation or, circumstance, and they reach out on their own, they're really not going to know.
Right.
So I find that, companies put all this stuff on blast email. But if you're inundated with work, you're not going to watch the email. You're not going to thoroughly read the email. You're just trying to handle the most prioritized thing, prioritization. And, it just gets stuck and you just end up in this cyclical process. And so what happens is, again, here's a situation, a person that needs mental health services, they have to go dig to find it. It's there, but they have to go dig and find it. They're not going to be like, oh, you have this access to mental health coverage. You have They're not advertising that like crazy.
Right.
They're like, it's there, and they just kind of put it out there, and they feel like, oh, I've covered myself because I've shown my employees that it's out here. Unless you're an aggressive individual that's really going to do your research and investigation, again, how you going to do that if you're inundated with work? So it just has to be a balance, and at the same time I hate that it's that way while corporations have it out here. I feel like they need to push it up and into the awareness of the community, of the corporate community, because people are still hurting. COVID really shook a lot of people. I just want to articulate that, vulnerability can be tough for people, and they just sit up in these tough, macho places because they're afraid to really express their heart.
This is something that you don't have to worry about your notes or things that you talk about in this EAP session, along with it being HIPAA, you know what I mean? Like, along with HIPAA and all of that stuff. This is not a part of your insurance. Your company can't call and say, hey, what was y'all talking about, or send me the notes. It's not the same thing. Now, companies can mandate you to get mental health services, but they can't see the notes. They're not able to call the therapist and say, hey, tell me what you're talking about. EAP is totally separate from your job and it's totally separate from your insurance.
Correct.
It's its own entity. So one of the things that I would suggest for you to do is to go to your HR and just simply ask them, because they may not know what the services that this EAP provider provides.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be helpful for you to go to your HR and say, hey, who is our EAP provider? Get the number and then call them and ask them what are some of the services that they offer. I work with a few, what do they call, service coordinators. They would often call, set up the therapy session, and basically the client would come and they would have between 6 to 12 free EAP sessions
Okay.
per year with me.
Okay. And the other thing that people need to have awareness of around EAP is that you can have it as an employee, but it's also it's something that your family can use.
Yes.
And that's not articulated either.
If a client calls you and says, hey, I have EAP, do you offer EAP services? You would simply ask them who is providing their counseling service through their EAP and ask them for the number that they gave them. You call them, they'll send you a link, you fill out the paperwork, and let's just say at most 30 days before you're on their list of providers. This is a service that can help fill those gaps in your schedule. They do not pay as much as regular insurance, but they may pay anywhere between, they may start off anywhere between $60 and $85. And note to self, when they call you and they give you the offer, negotiate.
After those free sessions,
Yes.
we can become regular paying clients.
Right.
So
And
it's still a win-win. So I'm going to take it back old school, being churchy, right?
Mhm.
You don't need no therapist. You trust in God. And you need all that. And the thing of it is, God put everybody in their field for a reason. So why not use a therapist? You have this profession for a reason, right? And the thing is, while it was a thing years ago, figure it out on your own. No, we don't have to figure anything out on our own. He is here for a reason. Therapists are in our lives for a reason. We use them to clear our minds. We use them to, clear our hearts. We use them as a person to talk to that's not our family, that we might not want in our family business.
Right.
So you guys are great resources for the community if people just really realize that. But again, going back to the corporate space, let's make sure people understand that it's available to them.
Right. And it's free. And it's not just free for you, it's free for you and the members of your household.
Having a coach has really poured into my life. So from a career perspective, I guess I'll give a little bit of a testimony here. I was in a certain part in my career at some years ago where I was literally working from 6 a.m. all the way back to 2 a.m. So I was literally only getting 3 hours of sleep. And the challenge with that was I want to keep my name clean. I don't want a poor performance.
Right.
And I'm the type of person that if it's on my plate, I'm going to get it done because this is just how I am. And so it really just put me in my family was miserable because I was miserable, so they were getting it. I didn't have time with my husband. I didn't have time with my children. I barely had time to cook. Just life was just a mess at that time. And I was like, how do I get out of this? Like, I have to fix this.
Right.
I can't just sit up here and let this company run me. I have to fix my life. Was it exercise and all that? And so I just decided to do my best to drop some things and let the chips fall where, is it how we say? Let the chips fall where they may. Yeah, that part. And then I sought out a coach. I sought out a mentor. And that mentor just began to pour into me into a different place and just, shift my mindset because some of it was I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel like me, I can do, it just, some of this goes back to ourselves. This is why I
Right.
say it's so important to help these people heal mentally so
Right.
that they can proceed in life. And I mentally wasn't in the best place to even just talk about my self-worth, to even feel like I'm promotable, right?
Right.
And so, in that, the coach just helped me, and we still connect to this day. And now I'm at a place that I'm coaching other people. So that, again, that was years ago. I'm definitely, I mean, hey, I have a business now, and I promote and help other people in their space. But a coach was definitely an asset to me to help get me out of that rut. And you think, oh, I don't need a coach, but yeah, you do. Everybody needs some kind of mentor or coach in their life.
Thank you, Makita DeBose, for sitting down with us and discussing and helping bringing more light to this topic. We didn't answer every question in this video, so if you have more questions, please feel free. Type them in that part down there where you put the comments. Come on, let's get this going. Let's get this going. Let's build this channel. Let's get this algorithm working in our favor. Talk to me.